What's up, everybody? David Justice here, two-time World Series champion. I want to welcome you back to Tuesday's Tips. Today we're going to talk about playing in rain. I hated playing in rain, but because baseball is an outdoor sport and you play in all the regions in the United States, you're going to sometimes find yourself playing in a rainy game. Now, here's some of the tips I will give you for preparing for rainy days. One, you want to make sure you got enough batting gloves. Obviously, you don't want your batting gloves to be wet, because then now you can't control the bat. You want to try to keep your bats as dry as possible. But here's one area that a lot of people never think about, okay? And I actually learned this from my mother as a kid growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio. See, as an outfielder, you never see a tarp on the outfield. The tarp is always on the infield, taking care of that infield, while they let the rain dump on the outfield. So if you go out into the outfield, it's going to be so wet. Your feet will be soaking wet by the second inning, and now it's just miserable for you. So what I used to do is I would put one pair of socks on, pair of sanitaries. Then I would grab plastic bag. So you can get a small plastic bag, however small, you can cut them however you want to. And what you do is you take that plastic bag and you put it over each sock. And then you put your second pair of socks over top. And then depending on how many pair of socks you wear, sometimes I'd wear 2, sometimes I'd wear 3. But on a rainy day, it would probably be 3 pairs of socks. So then I would put my white pair of sanitaries on first, the plastic bag over them, now my second pair of socks, and then, say I'm playing with the Yankees, it'd be my blue socks next. And I found that my feet never got wet in rainy conditions. It makes for a much more enjoyable game for you, and you don't have to worry about cold feet, and it will not affect anything else. Your feet will be warm. The plastic bags will actually keep your feet warm. Now, another thing we used to do is we would have these little hot pockets. As an outfielder, it's cold. Say it's October in New York, it's a playoff game, you know how the conditions can be. So what you do is you just take that hot pocket and you put it in your back pocket. And in between pitches, you just hold it. As the pitcher's getting his signs and walking around, you just keep it there and let your hand get as warm as possible. And right when he starts his wind up, you just take that hand out and you be ready. That will keep your throwing hand warm. You're gonna obviously wear a batting glove on the glove hand, so that should keep you pretty warm there. So those are the types of things that's gonna keep you warm. The plastic bags in your feet. Now, in terms of gear, what you're gonna wear. Now, here's where you wanna be real careful, because you don't wanna wear so many clothes where you feel constricted, where you feel like you don't have the flexibility and the loose feeling that you want as a hitter. And fortunately, nowadays, they make really quality type of gear for you. You know, they wear the tight Under Armour type stuff that's warm, that you can wear. I mean, this stuff is very lightweight, but it keeps you warm, and it's not very constricting. So I would always throw on one shirt, just one shirt, and then I would actually have another shirt on underneath my jersey over top of the long sleeve shirt that was usually a cutoff shirt. Something I always felt like I needed to keep my torso warm. I don't know why I'm crazy, but I need to keep my torso warm. And then I would put my jersey over top of that. So in my opinion, you know, again, you don't want to wear too many clothes, but you also want to stay warm. I believe you keep those hands warm. I've given you a way of keeping your feet warm. You're in the dugout. When you get in the dugout, you have that chance to put a jacket on, so that's going to keep you warm in the dugout. And a lot of dugouts are heated, so you'll be fine there. And hopefully you won't play in too many rainy games, because it's never fun for anyone. One other thing about playing in rainy conditions too is you got to remember, if the outfield is wet, you know that ball is going to skip on you. So your angles have to be different. You can't play it like you do on dry days. You have to know that any line drive that's hitting the outfield in the gap is going to skip on you. So you want to give yourself a little bit of a better angle to cut it off, because if you don't, it's going to be on to the wall and potentially giving up an extra base. And we know what that'll do. So those are my tips for staying warm and playing in rainy weather. I'll catch you next Tuesday.